Hi, welcome to The Great Game. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to Ken Repel and tell you about a couple of war games he will be publishing. One of them, 1812 War on the Great Lakes Frontier, is soon to be published by Compass Games. Another, On the Battle of Saratoga, has also been accepted for publication by Compass Games and will probably come out in 2024. Ken, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ken Repel of The Great Game. I am the opponent of Richard Rindai. Yes.
So in addition to being an opponent, you're a game designer, among other things that you do.
Yeah, I'm a tinker. I like to take things and then make them into what I would prefer.
And the most notable example of that is a game that's going to be published by Compass Game. It's coming up soon.
Right, the 1812 War on the Great Lakes Frontier. It's coming probably within the next few months. That was an extension of Mr. Madison's War. That's how that one happened. Okay, I got that, and of course Amateurs to Arms was another reason for that, but mostly it was the Mr. Madison's War. So I found that as I research things, you find new things, and that these generals, one was hired because the other was fired. And I found that the leaders coming in and out were not appropriate for what I thought they should be for the war. And I started to expand that until it became its own thing.
But it's also an era or a scenario that is not very much covered. So even if the War of 1812, I don't know how many games there are about that particular war, but you chose to focus on the Great Lakes frontier. Tell me more about that.
I found that to be the most interesting. Actually, when I first started, I thought it might be a naval game because I thought the little, what I call the micro navies, were really interesting. On the Great Lakes, they each had 20 ships or so on the Great Lakes. Each one was isolated, so they didn't affect the others. You could be winning over here and losing over there, and I found ship-to-ship combat to be very interesting. As I researched it, I found out part of the reason were the way the ships were designed. They were not ocean-going vessels, they were lake-going vessels, so they didn't have to provide long stores on the ships. They could come into harbor more often, so they had more room for guns. Yeah, so they had the same size ship with more guns on them, and all the battles and stuff I found to be very interesting, and that's how that went.
So that's coming out. We expect to see it
probably January. I was hoping for this year, but
so January 2023, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those watching, keep an eye out for that.
I'm headed to the Compass Game Expo in a couple days. It's a sneak attack, though. They don't know I'm coming.
Yeah, and you're coming armed with a new game, right?
Yeah, I am. It's right in front of me here.
Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, this is Saratoga. It's I'm inspired off of the Saratoga BOAR game that we played.
So it's the American Revolution?
Yeah.
And this is a game in development. This has not been picked up or published yet.
No,
right?
I brought it out of. It's made its maiden voyage at a couple of game conventions.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to go there and put it down and see what people say. I've sent it to a prominent person in the industry in Canada, and he was a thumbs up on it. So I'm going to give it a pursuit and see how it goes there.
All right.
If I come back with a contract, I'd be very happy.
That'd be awesome.
Although I would say 1812, I was very confident. I knew I'd come back with something on this. This one, yeah.
Well, this is another battle that's not super well covered.
No. That was part of the problem. I couldn't find any games on it. I wanted to find a Labatai or a BAR game on it. No.
GMT has one.
Yeah, they had the Saratoga game and the BOAR system, which you and I have played.
Yes.
And like the BOAR is one of our favorite systems. Love it. And when the White Plains comes out, it'll be great. Yeah. But I couldn't find anything in between that and Labatai.
So would you say there's anything different in this game that you're developing compared to the BOAR game?
It's simplistic. It's supposed to be very simple and quick. And that's how I want it to be. Fast.
So you've been playtesting this. You and I have played it once. I assume you've playtested with some others as well. And you've got the rules fairly well developed. Are you final now, or just about final?
I think I have the rules in a pretty sweet spot, but there's always going to be something I found out I go, oh yeah, this, that, or the other thing. So that can happen, but I think I've got them in a pretty good spot. The chrome, the sweetness, are light units. How they're handled, you can do some things with that, with withdrawing them behind the lines before melee. They help you out in combat a little bit. You can stack them, things like that.
We filmed this video in November 2022. Since then, much has happened with Saratoga. First, Gilbert Collins has agreed to develop the game. He has updated the map, done some playtesting, and is writing the historical commentary. Second, Ken has added a couple of small battles to the mix. One is the Battle of Hubbardton that was fought on July 7, 1777, in the forest southeast of Fort Ticonderoga. The other is the Battle of Bennington that was fought on August 14 through 16, 1777, about 10 miles from Bennington, Vermont. Finally, Compass Games has agreed to publish Saratoga together with Hubbardton and Bennington. It should be ready sometime in 2024. Ken is hopeful that the game system for Saratoga will serve for future games about battles in the 18th century. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. This has been The Great Game.